Good morning, this is Winston Cunningham. It is March the 10th, 2025. And I'm thinking this morning about how fortunate I am to have the knowledge of rising above the physical. Jesus put it like this: being in the world, but not of it. Most people, and I did early on as well, identifies with the physical body. However, the physical body is the vehicle, not the self. It is the vehicle that I'm using for this lifetime. It is only the vehicle. It's like if I want to go somewhere, I get in a car, and the vehicle takes me where I need to go. So I wanted to experience this lifetime. I wanted to learn by being in the physical body, which is my vehicle, but I needed to learn to be unattached to it. Now, I didn't necessarily know that that's what I needed to learn at the beginning. At the beginning, it was just obvious to me that I needed to understand religion so I could rise above it. I didn't understand that until I got to the School of Metaphysics and began to really get clear about some things. But I am 81 years old at this time, and my life is much different than other people's condition at this age, because I am not attached to the physical body. I have risen above that. This is why I am not subject as much to the physical existence as these other people are, because they have not taken the step to understand that there's more, and that this, me being in the physical and this part of it has a relevance. But this does not represent who I am. Who I am is a lot more than that, because there's many lifetimes, understanding from those lifetimes, that's stored in my own soul. And I've been able to pull some of that forward. And I have developed over the last 40 years, I have developed a real working relationship with my own soul. And this coming from a religion where I heard them talk about soul a lot, but they didn't tell me what I know now about the soul, what I found out through experience and with some proper instruction from the School of Metaphysics. The religious people in religion, in the Southern Baptist religion that I grew up in, they told me what they knew, and which was all threaded with attachment to the physical. Because in their mind, God is everything and we're nothing. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. The truth is that God gave us all, each one of us, everything He had at the beginning. If we want to ignore that, then we're subject to the physical existence. We are in the world and we are of it, of the world. So to pay close attention to those instructions that come from the Bible, rather than limit oneself to the understanding on a physical level only, one must rise above the physical in order to get to the good stuff. That's the way it is. And most people are just afraid to know, and religion tells them you're not supposed to know. Well, I couldn't go that route. I needed to know. I had to know. I needed to know how. I needed to know why. And where I was, they couldn't tell me. Either church or school couldn't tell me. That don't mean they were withholding information. That just means that they didn't know. So they teach what they know, which is very, very, very limited. When you rise above the limitations of the physical body, you begin to understand who you really are. And this requires developing that relationship with your own soul. And several talks that I've put on this We Are Valuable Media relate to that. And one, if you're interested more, then listen to my talk on the question, or some of the other talks that I've done. I talk about this from different perspectives. But this morning I'm feeling very proud. Not proud as in the ego, but proud in terms of appreciating the work that I've put in. Yes, the work that I've put in. And the Southern Baptists, they said, you don't have to work. But I am appreciating what I have gained because of the work that I have put in. That most people, because of religion, are afraid to do. There's nothing to be afraid of unless you create something. Doubt and fear dredges up all sorts of monsters. I never was really afraid of the things that most people are afraid of. And I've come to understand that there's nothing to be afraid of. And when I say that, somebody say, well, what if somebody sticks a gun in you? Well, I don't relate to guns as other people do. I don't own a gun. There's a reason for that. I don't need one. Because if I had a gun strapped to my hip, guess what? I'm attracting those negative things to me. I don't want that. I want peace. And while I'm at it talking about peace, every time I think of the word peace, I want to mention that every morning at 7:30 a.m. Central Time, U.S. Central Time, there's a group of people you will find on peacedome.org. It's presented on Zoom every morning. The reading of the Universal Peace Covenant. You need to get these words in your head. Download a copy. Go a few mornings or many mornings and participate with this. At least you can register, I think, and observe, or you can participate after the reading. I think there's a discussion. But these people have been doing this for, last time I heard the count was like 1,800 days consecutive. These folks are dedicated to peace, because peace starts here. And talking about guns kind of reminded me of that, because people that carry guns are just riddled with fear. riddled with fear. To be fearful is a choice. I don't go to the areas of town where a person may need a gun. I like peace, so I avoid the places that are not peaceful. That's me. I understand at that. And you'll hear on the news on a regular basis what just happened to somebody because they were in the wrong place. Well, you have a choice of where to be. You have a choice. But let me get back to what I was originally talking about here, is because I'm appreciating the fact that I put in the effort to rise above the physical, and that's why I'm not falling apart like other people my age. Because when you're attached to the physical only, and when the physical starts to crumble, you don't know to do anything else. Because you didn't really listen to what Jesus was saying. You only heard as much as what the rest of the people heard and passed on, and so you can feel good now about yourself. But in truth, until you start listening in here for the real truth that comes through your own experience, then you're nowhere. You're trapped in the physical body. And this entrapment is told in the Bible. The story of the Israelites escaping from Egypt into the Promised Land and so forth. And there are several other ways that the story of entrapment is told in the Bible. But it's all coded in language of mind. No one, let me repeat, no one can understand the Bible without language of mind. It's the picture language. So if you try to, you get people arguing over this word means that and this word means that. Well, you got to rise above it by seeing the pictures that the words are describing. The pictures that the words are describing is the real deal. Not arguing over this word or that word, and let me just add this at this point. The word, the original statement, every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God, or the mouth of God is the medulla oblongata. That's where the energy comes in. God's energy, the universal energy, comes into your system. So God's word means breath. And the breath comes in through the mouth of God. This is what that means. So you're not going to get anywhere arguing over the meaning of this word or that word. But by paying attention in here, you begin to see the relevance of the words through pictures. The picture language. Go to som.org, the School of Metaphysics website, and just look at the book list. And get something that'll help you begin to understand the language of mind. Because it's critical. And you can go through a whole lifetime and not be exposed to the language of mind, or the structure of mind, or anything real. And so this lifetime, although there'll be some learning taking place, you're going to miss the most important part. And I am very thankful to the one in the mirror that I chose to go a step farther. And anyone can choose. If you're attached to the physical only, you think that you are the physical body, you're entrapped. You are trapped in this physical body, and you'll keep coming back into this physical body and that physical body until such time as you rise above. And rising above, as where I am, is just the beginning. I feel like I've only scratched the surface because there's 144,000 different parts of myself that I need to understand. And I've got a ways to go. But I have compassion for those people that have yet to begin. And yes, whatever level a person is on, they'll be getting something out of it. It'll be their education from the grade of school that they have chosen to be in. And each lifetime is like a grade in school. If you don't get the message that the experience provides for this lifetime, you're going to have to repeat the grade. So how many times you come back over and over again? That's called the wheel of rebirth in some writings. Let me encourage you, because as you step up, the marriage made in heaven is the relationship between the conscious mind and subconscious mind. And that's where I've put a lot of energy over the last 40 years. And I've benefited from it. I am benefiting from it. And the farther I go into it, the more difference I can see between where I am and where most people are. Or where I was at some point. But I had been here before because something kept nagging me. Look at this, look at that. And you may have had that too, and you may have just ignored it. But I was in a place to where it was time for me to cease ignoring it. And I had some awareness of something trying to come to me. And it took me a long time to begin to understand that. But I do understand it now. And so can you. It starts by building this relationship between the conscious mind and subconscious mind, and as that occurs, through meditation mostly, as that occurs, then you can get in touch with the spirit, which is in the superconscious part of mind, the one above that. But religion teaches you go flat-footed from here to the spirit. It don't work that way. It don't work that way. There are steps in gaining enlightenment, which is awareness. There are steps, and those steps cannot and will not be skipped. If you are attempting to skip a step, it's going to need to be repeated. Take what you want and pay for it. That's what I've heard. But in my case, I pay for what I have. And I have compassion for those, and I remember the words of Jesus, forgive them for they know not what to do. So I have that sense of forgiveness when I look at somebody who has no understanding of these things, and they have no idea what they're setting up for themselves. They think things just happen. Well, they don't just happen. Everything is caused, and we are the cause. And the more you can see that, the more progress you can make. And so I'm just appreciating the progress that I have made. And of course, there's a whole lot more. But it helped me to say this. Maybe it'll help somebody else to hear it. I'm Winston Cunningham. Thank you.